What is good, folks, and welcome back. Today on Sage Thoughts, I just got through watching Joker Folie, and I want to give my thoughts, because honestly, I like this movie. I legitimately like this movie. I get where everybody else on the internet is coming from, but I'm not one of them. I honestly like this movie for what it is, and I see a lot of positives in it and the story that it's telling. So let's take a closer look. If this seems like the type of video that you might like, be sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit me up down below and let me know what were your thoughts on Joker Folie Deux. And just to be clear, this is a spoiler video. If y'all have not seen the movie, that's not on me. This is not on me if y'all get spoiled. This is on y'all at this point. I take no responsibility. This is on y'all. But anyway, let's get on with the show. Sage, hit the title. So I'm gonna come right out and say it. I don't have a problem with Arthur Fleck dying at the end. I do not have a problem with that at all, especially with the story that they're telling of this whole cycle of copycat serial killers and him inspiring violence. Like, I don't have a problem with that, especially with the reasoning that is set up that he was killed. This dude in the psych ward idolized the Joker and what he stood for, or an Arthur taking the turns that he does in the story, he's seen as, oh, you turned your back on all of us. Okay, so you're getting what you deserve, using his own verbiage against him, like using his own line of logic against him, that being his unend. That is a poetic end, if anything, and with the story that the movie takes in order to get us there, that's what I find honest intrigue in. Folie Deux is defined as the madness of two. It is a shared madness. It's a psychological disorder characterized by sharing a specific delusion among two or more people in close relationship to each other. If that is not the story of Harley and Joker throughout every canon of their stories, I don't know what else is, because that is blatantly what it is. Arthur Fleck's story as the Joker in the first movie and in the second movie has been him sharing his madness with the world around him. It's him spreading this chaos and in turn inspiring other people, thinking he's something that's greater than himself. They're all sharing in this delusion that the Joker is something bigger than he is. I like this sort of New 52 style setup they had with Harley in this. Like, essentially her choosing to go into the psych ward and being inspired by the Joker and wanting to get close to him. She is somebody who is obsessed with those types of people and is just completely glommed onto this idea of the Joker, this peak madness, somebody who is perfect in every single way. But she is also somebody who has nothing else going on in her life, who honestly feels like an outcast and everything. She wants part of what the Joker is. She wants to be a part of his world. And underneath all of that obsession is that inherent selfishness of, I want to be part of the show. I have to be part of that world. I want that spotlight too. Which creates that conflict as he starts isolating him more and more from people who are genuinely trying to at least help him out with his psychological problems. Harley's entire argument is there is nothing wrong with him. He is perfect the way he is. There is nothing that he can do wrong. But that goes in contrast to the person that Arthur is. She's in love with the idea of the Joker. She's in love with this idealized version of the madness that is Joker. She's in love with Arthur's madness. She's not in love with the man himself. When Arthur owns up to his mistakes and everything, and when he admits to everything that he has done and is showing genuine regret over it, she turns away from him. She immediately turns away and wants nothing to do with him, because now the fun is over. Because clearly this isn't who he is. He said it himself, he's not the Joker. He's just Arthur Fleck. I like that overarching question throughout the movie of who is Arthur Fleck. Is him and Joker the same person? Is the Joker a split personality? Who is Arthur Fleck? And I love how they slowly unravel that question, even teasing it at the beginning in that Looney Tunes ass My Shadow and Me cartoon at the beginning of the movie, alluding to everything and showing us what happened after, or at least a part of what happened after Joker killed Murray at the end of the first movie. The Joker is just essentially just dancing in the moonlight, just dancing in the music in the show. And then when the cops show up, Arthur is the one that gets arrested. Arthur is the one taking the fall and everything and has been in prison for 2 to 3 years. The Joker personality is always looming in the background of Arthur's mind, but it doesn't take away from Arthur as a character. It doesn't take his own agency as a character. It still holds him responsible. He's still being held accountable by people like Harvey Dent. You do not deserve our sympathies. You know exactly what you did. You took away all of these innocent people. You do not deserve to just walk away from this. You are being held accountable and you need to take responsibility for this. The thing that finally breaks Arthur during that trial was when they brought in Gary, a guy from the first movie who Arthur spared the day he went on his spree as the Joker. The man that he spared and honestly considers a friend. Gary has been living in fear for years because of what Arthur did. He's been fearing for his life and he made him feel helpless. Somebody that Arthur considers a friend, he has made him feel helpless. He has been awful to him. And that being the thing that breaks Arthur and makes him acknowledge that what he did was wrong, or at least feel somewhat guilty over. And then the bombing of the courthouse happens, and Arthur, after being rescued by these Joker protesters, he runs away from them. He runs off from them because this is nuts. You guys just bombed a courthouse full of people. Joker may have wanted this, but Arthur didn't want that. He was taking responsibility for everything that he's doing, and then this happens, so he runs away from them out of fear. I was honestly intrigued by the story these two movies were telling about this sort of cycle of violence that Arthur and Joker have created. This violence and creating more violence stemming from Arthur's actions. Arthur letting the Joker out and creating that mass violence that has in turn created more mass violence and copycat killers just like him. That's my only downside with this movie, that we don't really see the consequences of Joker's actions on the mass society that is Gotham. But that doesn't take away from the story being told at hand. Whether it's the inmates in Arkham Asylum that he basically pulled a One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest with, or the downtrodden people in Gotham who he unintentionally caused class warfare with, or with people like Harley who idolized and obsessed over him and wanted to be a part of him, wanted to be a part of his madness. I love that story and just where it leads him, eventually being overtaken and potentially replaced as the Joker. I like that story idea, and I like the way that they set it all up. And I didn't even get to talk about the musical scenes in this movie, giving us a key look into the mindsets of the main characters and where their headspaces are currently at and what's sort of driving them and what are their thoughts in the situations that they're in. I like that they added that, and I think they're used well enough. At the end of the day, I honestly like Joker 2. I think it's better than Joker 1 in a lot of ways. But after leaving the theaters, I felt sick to my stomach because it went over a lot of heavy topics that got uncomfortable very quickly. But it's in that same vein as Joker 1 made me uncomfortable. It made me uncomfortable, but it also made me think. That is why I feel that was important. It made me uncomfortable, but it made me think about this movie even more and what it was trying to say, or at least my interpretation of what it was trying to say. I don't know if I can comfortably recommend Joker Folie Deux to you all or not, but if y'all saw the first movie and y'all want to see the sequel, all the power to you, go on right ahead. But for now, I must bid you all adieu. So goodbye. Good night. Sage out.